Association of Industrial Pharmacists of Nigeria, it is our distinct honor and pleasure to welcome you all to the 2026 Economic Outlook and CEOs Forum with the theme, Reimagining Nigeria's Health Security, Local Production, Economic Sovereignty, and Strategic Partnership. My name is Pharmacist Monica Hemben Emunjeze. I have the honor to be working this morning with another colleague, and he will introduce himself.
My name is Pharmacist Theophilus Emeka, TEA. I want to welcome you to this event.
Thank you very much. So let's lighten it up a little bit. I'm told we have a cappella in the house. Are you here? I'm told he's in the house. So let's do that very quickly as we get ready for Ope. Ope will be taking the next presentation. But before that, we have a cappella. Appreciate it.
First of all, I need to say congratulations to everybody who started the CEOs. Please give yourselves a round of applause. Doing this in a country like Nigeria where we mostly self-medicate. You know, in Nigeria, there's a kind of sickness you have. If you go to hospital, your friends are disappointed. Like, for instance, they say somebody has malaria. I say, where you do? Say, the hospital, sir. Waiting to chemist. Malaria, as small as it is. Hey, go chemist, no waste money. Because if you hear the names of some of these sickness from abroad, sometimes, you know, you hear their sickness and you hear things like syphilis, gonorrhea, typhoid. Those kind of sickness, they are very polite. Have you heard sickness in Nigeria? All our sickness comes in twos. Jadi, belu belu, kro kro, lapa lapa. If the name is not true, we are not sick. That's why when you hear their drugs, sometimes you have to take and take. We have Panadol, paracetamol, chloroquine, too polite. If you hear the name of our drug, we go where that evening, Alabukum. We are not playing. You know, I almost was going to start late because you know it's the Lagos thing. When they have an event for 9 in Lagos, people come by 11, not because they want to, because the traffic situation in Lagos alone. When you have an event for 9, you tell the people the event is yesterday, so that by today all of us are here. So have you not driven on Lagos traffic before? Lagos traffic, now you start the lane, later you know the lane. You can't beg, wait my enter now. You know that sir, in Abuja when you are driving, you want to switch lane. All you need to do, all your trafficator, the guy behind you, hold on. In Lagos, once you on that light, you go sleep here. Driving in Lagos is wrong. So for you to switch lane, you have to surprise your driver. Because you cannot show your enemy your next move. So you have like your mind is not there. Once the guy loses concentration, say my God, you punish. Have you seen traffic lights in Abuja? In Abuja, traffic lights, the green light says go. Amber light, slow down. Red light, stop. In Lagos, green light, they go. Amber light, hurry, 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 hurry. Red light, run, 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 run. There is something about Lagos traffic. I was driving recently, one YouTube for getting by my windscreen. Of my thank God that you buy granite. I said it's too early, I don't want granite, go ahead. After 5 minutes, he came back. Of my thank buy granite. I said, no, you come before. He said, I mean, I said, I don't want to buy. He left. This time, 2 minutes later, he came back. Of my thank, let me buy granite. If I don't sell, they go beat me. I said, who go beat you? He said, my mama. Let me beat you, you know. So the boy left. As soon as I saw him coming back, this time I was frustrated. But behind him, I saw somebody selling banana. So I said, okay, let me just buy the granite mixed with banana. As the boy got to my windscreen, I said, call the banana. He didn't know I was still going to buy granite. Uncle, but I did very say buy granite. He did like say, you don't want to buy anything. Now make a help me call banana. Banana, monkey they call you.
On behalf of the Planning Committee, I welcome you all to the 2026 Economic Outlook and CEO Forum, organized by the Association of Industrial Pharmacists of Nigeria. We appreciate your honoring our invitation and your ongoing commitment to advancing Nigeria healthcare. The theme of the forum has been well coined, talked about reigniting Nigeria's health security, local production, economic sovereignty, and strategic partnership. The question everybody asks is what is security, national security, without health security? Health security have been proven over time to be the cornerstone of national security. On that note, I would like to appreciate those ahead of us in setting up the local factories, indigenous factories that are manufacturing products in Nigeria, thereby making essential medicines affordable to the populace. Thank you very much, sir. We are honored by the presence of the Royal Highness, Madam Sanusi II, CON, the Emir of Kano, who graciously accepted the honor of delivering the keynote address. We thank your Royal Highness for your wisdom, leadership, and invaluable contribution to national development. We also appreciate His Majesty, His Royal Majesty, Igwe Emeka Afro-Achidi, CFRO, MNI, the OB of Onitsha, who happens to be chairman of this occasion, for your lending dignity, authority, and statesmanship to this forum. Thank you very much. We also need to thank His Royal Majesty, Obadeye Editor Adelusi Ojoja II, the Owner of Ife, who is the chairman of the closing dinner, for honoring us with his presence later today, and for supporting the social and networking aspect of this important gathering. I will fail to appreciate all of us in this hall for taking time out of our very busy schedules to honor NAIP at this CEO Forum. This CEO Forum is a solution-focused platform that unites the industrial leaders. That's why we have everybody across the industry coming in here. Once again, you are most welcome. We wish all participants a fruitful deliberation and a successful CEO Forum. Thank you very much.
I will begin by acknowledging the Maker of Kings, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Before I proceed further, permit me to briefly explain why I insisted, yes, pushed a little, to ensure that our royal fathers are not pharmaceutical. The calling of past presidents of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria are present at this year's Economic Outlook and CEO's Forum. Across Nigeria, we may speak different languages, but wisdom sounds the same everywhere. One thing is clear: when elders stand behind a cause, even stubborn walls begin to develop cracks. In some parts of our country, we say a child with his father's backing can break anymore. In others, we say a house without elders soon becomes a building without direction. Different proverbs, the same message. And let us be honest, this is Nigeria. If you want a project to move smoothly, you involve those who have seen many seasons. If you want it to last, you seek their blessing. And if you want it to survive politics, policy changes, and economic cycles, you sit them right in front. Our fathers do not merely bring tradition to this forum, they bring legitimacy, balance, and perspective. They remind us that development without values is risky, and speed without wisdom is expensive. I thank you all for honoring this forum with your presence. Your leadership, wisdom, and moral authority lend dignity and depth to our deliberation, and affirm that the pursuit of national health security, economic presence, and sustainable development is a shared responsibility across generations and institutions. And I must confess, once the Khalifa, the Emir of Kano, the Abogi, Obi of Onitsha, the Oni of Ife, and there's a trauma one of the Kingdom, our Lord Pharmaceutical, confirmed their attendance, I slept better.
The the time is up now to bring the President of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, Pharmacist Alhaji Tankariba, to give his speech. But before that, sir, I want to ask that the mic be given to a lady pharmacist. Pharmacist, come up here, please. She will be leading us in the pharmacy anthem. May I request that all pharmacists here present be upstanding. If you are not a pharmacist, please sit. It is our usual practice to welcome our president with our national anthem. Lady pharmacists will give us just one stanza. Okay? And without usher in the president. All pharmacists will be upstanding as we take the national anthem. Or the pharmacy anthem, please.
We pharmacists, we members of glorious leadership, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, as men of honor, we join hands for pharmacy. Pharmacy, we are the industry, we are hospital, we are there. Education, we are there. Drug dispensing, we are there. Community, we are there. Politics, we are there. Just name it, we are there. Nigeria, we
present this morning because I have 4 technical groups under the PSN, and one of the technical groups is having a function today, and already before half the day we are all pleased with what they are doing. You know, I used to say that NAIP went into coma and it was revived, but since it has been revived, they keep moving forward. I thought Ken Odoku's chairman was very successful, but I can see signs that Banki is going to support that. Because as the ambush is not here, I can confidently say that NAIP is my first one. Because he is the drive whether NAIP or anything is the first one PSN. Since this is not here, I can bind you. I give you the first one. But I thought it was a setup for you to call Prince Julius Adelusi to speak. Then you call Amayuma to come and whoever made that agreement was not met me. So, on behalf of the National Executive Council of PSN, congratulate NAIP organizing this event, which by the grace of God I think is already successful. And I hope the lessons we'll learn from the papers presented here will be prevented so that we make Nigeria industry, the pharmaceutical industry, move from success to success and contribute more to the GDP of Nigeria. So I welcome you all and maybe enjoy ourselves during this conference.
Pharmacy. Oftentimes, when you are in the midst of pharmacists, they want to intimidate you. But then, I'm glad that I have my own connection with pharmacy. Because I went to secondary school that produced loads and loads of them. And that is two of my classmates or more who were pharmacists. I tried to read pharmacy, I have to confess. And my role model was the late pharmacist Fred Adelusi, who read pharmacy at the University of California in San Francisco, the medical campus. I read chemistry at Stanford, and I wanted to convert to pharmacy. There's a rivalry between Stanford and chemistry, Stanford and Berkeley in everything. Even to pick up a broom, they will fight about it. So I applied to convert to pharmacy. They said they'll give me 1 year credit for my chemistry degree. And I said no. I demand 2 years credit. And they said no. You're from Stanford, 1 year credit. So I moved on to other things. And thank God that I'm here today to speak to pharmacy. It's a great honor to join you today as chairman of the 2026 Economic Outlook and CEOs Forum. And I thank the chairman of the Association of Industrial Pharmacists of Nigeria, Sir Bankole Ezebido, for inviting me, and also the organizers for convening this important gathering at a crucial moment in our national journey. The theme before us, reimagining Nigeria's health security, local production, economic sovereignty, and strategic partnerships, speaks directly to the realities of our time and to the future we must deliberately shape. In recent years, Nigeria, like many nations of the world, has been reminded, sometimes painfully so, that health security is national security. I'll say it again, that health security is national security.
I would like to congratulate the organizers of this program. When you look around, this program has been very well curated. And you find that if you look rapidly at the history of organized events, pharmaceutical events always come tops and being well organized. Today is not an exception. Pharmacists, finally, and as you know, you have done well. You have worked hard. God has blessed the work of the hands. And that's why you have this kind of assembly there. Look at the kaleidoscope of colors gathered this fall. Look at the gravitas of people gathered in this hall. It's not every day that you have traditional rules of the caliber that you have here. God has blessed the work of your hands, my dear Banky. And the leaders of pharmacy who are seated around this table, red cap, black cap, decorated cap, they are all looking at you with pleasure and satisfaction. Banky, congratulations, well done. I don't know how you did it, Banky. Well, you've chosen a rather auspicious day to have this event. In the US, this is a very auspicious day because the Americans remember with a sense of nostalgia that it was on the 4th of February 1789 that George Washington was unanimously elected as the very first president of the United States of America.
And I know for many people the economy feels like we're in a very dark place, and it is true. However, think of the counterfactual. think of where we're headed. Think of where we would have been if some steps had not been taken. Speaking as a central bank governor, I am happy, and I always say that when you look at the work that the central bank has done in the last 2 years, it is nothing short of remarkable. You know, whatever we do as a country, we should be fair enough to look at the good things and say these things have been done well. Look at the things that need improvement and say these things need to be improved upon. Look at things that we need to criticize and criticize. To move this economy from the brink of hyperinflation, to stabilize a currency that was on a free fall, you want to see where we have been. Think of Zimbabwe and then Mugabe, or Venezuela and then Chavez. We're ready to a point where you will buy a bag of rice in the morning, and by afternoon the price has gone up 50%. By evening, another 50%. That's what hyperinflation does. So imagine a driver who gets thrown into a car that is going at 200 miles per hour down a slope, and his job is to stop that car from getting to the bottomless pit. This is exactly what they've done, and I think we need to recognize that. Stabilizing the currency. Are we happy with the dollar at 1,600 naira? No. I mean, when I was central bank governor, it was 150. People pay school fees, people pay medical fees, people import your raw materials are not happy at the cost. But at least you know, if you buy the dollar at 1,600 naira today, you're going to come back next month and it's 2,000. And that is exactly what the central bank is supposed to do. Give you some sense of stability, give you the ability to plan long term, because without stability there can be no investment in an economy, which is why we're seeing gradually investments coming back. The second piece of good news is growth. 4.2 will not get us out of poverty. We know that. We need to grow in double digits. And this economy has grown at 7%, 8% before. We need to get to at least that and more. But you know, the IMF says 4.2%, the World Bank says 4.4%. The numbers look very small, but this is the first time in a long time that GDP is growing at a rate faster than the population of the country. It's also a positive thing to look at. Now, are there things that can be done better? Yes, we can improve on fiscal transparency. We can improve on the quality of spending. We can improve on our debt management and reduce the rate of increasing debts. But in terms of the big picture, in terms of laying a foundation and addressing the most critical problems, which was really the duty of the central bank to provide that stability that is the basis for growth, I think we're good with step one. Next will be step two, which will be fiscal consolidation, and then step three, which will be the structural reforms, which are longer term. So in short, what am I saying? Are we in a good place? Is this where we'd like to be? No. But the future today is far, far brighter than it was looking 3 years ago. And I think we need to keep that optimism and that confidence and that hope in Nigeria. Other people are looking, portfolio investors are coming, other investors are coming. We as Nigerians need to have that level of confidence in our economy. I'm going to speak about the issues around the pharmaceutical industry, industrial pharmacy. I'll speak a little bit about the reforms in the healthcare that will enhance health security in the country. The sector is obviously confronted by a number of challenges. There's a dearth of manpower, as many of you just leave the country in search of other opportunities.
Jinin mu ya zo daya kai kai wanki ni ko in zo in dau tsintsiya san ba wilaya gangar jiki an ce zuciya in babu kai sai dai aji
you give it a keynote address still controversial give me your hands there yes
bá fẹ́ràn mi ò láyé bí mo ṣe ń jó. mo mọ̀ pé bàbá fẹ́ràn mi ò bí mo ṣe ń yọ̀. mo mọ̀ pé bàbá fẹ́ràn mi ò jàre bí mo ṣe ń jó. pé bàbá fẹ́ràn mi ò yes. bí mo ṣe ń yọ̀. mi bí ọmọ, ó ń gbẹ̀ mí bí ọmọ. Oore rẹ̀ nínú ayé mi ó pọ̀ púpọ̀ ó yapa. Èmi náà rè o, ọmọ bá mi wá o, bàbá ò ṣe.
Today, we are celebrating leadership. And I have been mandated by the chairman of NAIP to make this presentation to our distinguished Royal Majesties. We are very happy that you are with us. You spent time with us. You have spoken to us, and we have received those. Then the question is, what can we give to you in return? The appreciation from our heart. And on behalf of the executive and the entire members of Association of Industrial Pharmacists of Nigeria, NAIP, it is our pleasure to announce that from this year and in perpetuity, we are instituting Emir Sanusi Legacy Award and Obi of Onitsha Legacy Award in any faculty of pharmacy of your choice. See, this is the reason why I request that you listen to me. I'm speaking on behalf of NAIP chairman. We will, from this year, sir, institute a legacy award in honor of our distinguished Emir of Kano in any university, faculty of pharmacy of your choice, sir, beginning from this year and in perpetuity. The winner of the award will receive 100,000 naira, and the award is in honor of Emir Sanusi and Obi of Onitsha. Thank you so much, sirs. We will certainly be in touch with you as we work on the advice that you have given to us.
Your Excellencies, I'm deeply honored to join you here today as a special guest of honor at this important CEO Economic Outlook Summit organized by the Association of Industrial Pharmacists of Nigeria. I thank the National Executive Council of NAIP for this invitation and for the important role the association continues to play in strengthening Nigeria's pharmaceutical and industrial manufacturing space. The theme of this summit, reimagining Nigeria's health security, local production, economic sovereignty, and strategic partnership, could not be more timely. Across the world, recent global supply chains disruptions have taught nations a painful lesson that health security is national security. This was highlighted earlier on by the chairman of the occasion, Igwe Alfred Echebe Agbogide. Countries that cannot produce essential medicines and health commodities locally are perpetually vulnerable. Therefore, Nigeria must reposition itself not merely as a consumer nation, but as a producer nation. The roles and responsibilities of the House Committee on NAFDAC are as follows. As the Deputy Chairman, the House Committee on NAFDAC, our committee carries a critical constitutional responsibility. Our work goes beyond legislation. It includes oversight of NAFDAC's operation and regulatory effectiveness, ensuring the agency remains responsive, efficient, transparent, and supportive of safe industrial growth. Strengthening regulatory frameworks that protect Nigerians from substandard and falsified medicines, foods, cosmetics, and related products. Supporting industrial growth, ensuring regulations encourage responsible to stifle investment and rather than to stifle investment and innovation.
The next item we'll have will be the plenary session, and I have the pleasure to invite the person to anchor this session, Mr. Jeku Ozemenem, Executive Director, Alternative Banking Nigeria.
My name is Dr. Jeku Ozemene. By way of introduction, I'm an Executive Director with Alternative Bank, an adjunct faculty at the Lagos Business School, and I wear several hats, so I reckon that in the course of moderating this event, I'll be speaking from different perspectives. So as an executive of a financial institution, I'm also a nominee non-executive director of 2 development finance institutions, the FMO, which is the Dutch Entrepreneurial Bank, and Oiko Credit, which is also another development finance institution. So I'll be speaking from the perspective of, I'll be moderating from the perspective of as an academic, as an executive in a financial institution, and as a non-executive director in a development finance institution. So thank you so much. I will start with talking through the theme, or establishing some key aspects of today's theme, which is reimagining Nigeria's health security, local production, economic sovereignty, and strategic partnership. And looking at this, I will always want to add farmer sovereignty. I wonder how we could have put together this team without adding farmer sovereignty to it. So on that note, I would like to call upon my big brother. I'm sure he can't remember me, but he's my very big brother, Mazi Samu Huabonwa. And I would like to ask him, from the perspective of farmer sovereignty, I know a lot has been said. We have seen so many talk shops. I suspect we know all the answers because we have said them over and over again. From an execution standpoint, what do we need to do today as a country to establish farmer sovereignty?
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished pharmacists. I believe that first is we need an appropriate policy framework, which I believe is not entirely lacking. But what is lacking, or what are lacking, will be first the implementation of those policies and the enforcement required. Second will be creating that enabling environment to ensure that the policy is executed. Pharmaceutical manufacturing, like every other business, can only thrive within a given ecosystem. And primary in this system is that people who must make investments in Nigeria, whether they be local investors or diaspora international investors, first must be sure that for every naira they invest here, it will have a competitive, globally competitive return. Related to that is that the investment they will make is safe. And also next to that is that they work in an unpredictable environment. We know the issues we deal with in this country and in most developing world. First is policy inconsistency. You want to invest, as you go halfway, the policy changes and you run into a big problem. Added to that is also the issue of when you are bringing your investment to a place, that place must have the appetite to welcome that investment.
What are the financing models or financing vehicles available today in our markets to ensure that these interventions take root? That's one. The second thing is that if they are not available in our market, because there are quite a number that are not available in our market, what are these models that we can bring in to ensure that we provide the right kind of financing? Then the last thing, I'm sorry, you have just 3 minutes because you don't have too much time. The last thing is that, so there's a lot of cash flow financing involved today. Is evolving over time. A few years ago, we were not able to do that in this market, but organizations like yours have the capacity to do that. Why? Because they have mined sufficient data to lend people based on their habits. I argue that in a couple of years' time, data will replace collateral. Because why do financial institutions lend? Financial institutions will lend to you because they know your habits. They know you can repay. And for an institution like OPE, how have you leveraged the data you have to be able to finance, I'm giving you expo, to be able to finance these institutions? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm talking about data. There are lots of businesses in the finance sector, a lot of startups that are specifically lending for pharma. One of them, I saw them there, Rigo, New Closes. They started out as they create software for HMOs, for hospitals. And all of a sudden they said, let's pivot into lending because they were able to have access to the data. They know data for pharma alone. They know data of businesses that need lending. And they saw that, okay, there was a need. Businesses, there's a doctor that runs one called Patient. They are a couple. And the thing when I asked them, they lend based on cash flow. Their loan loss provision, their normal loan loss is less than 1%. Most of them, even other fintechs like OPE, compared to what the banks have. So what I feel we are looking at is the need. What is the major need that will bring in, of course, returns to the business? As OPE, we've invested $570 million into Nigeria and Egypt, and we broke even in 2024. It's a long game, but not many people can play the venture capital and private equity long game in Nigeria. There are lots of ways we can do it in terms of collaboration, which is being done at the moment in community level, where you can get suppliers credit, you can get goods on, in upfront. For the long term, we have had some discussions with some businesses needing support for 24 months, but it's something we are looking at and considering because we started from 6 months, now extend to 12 months. We are stepping into the 24 months. What I've seen in the industry is that we need to look at the pain points of each person. Some people, their pain point is, help me pay my supplier abroad. Some people, their pain point is an ESCO, where everybody is happy that, okay, this is the middleman that warehouses my phone.
Chief Subramanian, I'll then ask you, what does it take to be an investor in this space in Nigeria? Because I know a friend of mine told me that you have to have a lion heart to put your money in this space. What does it take? What are the lessons that future entrepreneurs in this space, what lessons can they take from the experience that you've gathered over the period?
So, good afternoon. Thank God you didn't ask me the finance question because the way you were looking at me and putting the finance question, I really thought that possibly that's the question going to be thrown. And to be very honest, that's the only thing which I do not know. And your question is right, but you are framing it to a wrong person. Okay. The reason is, other than my origin, my parents, my name and my passport, everything about me is Nigerian. Yes. of course, my wife is also Indian. So I consider myself more as a Nigerian. So if you see me as an investor, I'm not somebody who has come from outside to invest here. I am here. I love this place. I do not know anywhere to go. What I know is my pharma industry. So my friends are here. I can't go and develop my friends after 15 years somewhere else. I don't see them differently in comparison to me. And that's what makes me, in spite of the challenges we face, problems we face, even if the grass is greener on the other side, I stick to my position that if I want to succeed, I need to succeed here among my friends, because those who have valued me, those who have kept me alive, those who have supported me is what they want to see me to become successful. It's easy to go to America, Europe, or developed countries and then get yourself settled easily because of the exchange rate difference. But it is important for a human being to come in a place, work hard, and to survive there. What we do in Nigeria is not something anybody can do anywhere in the world. So for me, I can't say what makes somebody to invest. For me, it is a passion for achieving something in Nigeria, a passion of surviving in presence of my friends, being friends with them. Because I remember that when we started the NAIP CEO forum, my brother here, who considers me, he was the first one to tell me that I'm a Nigerian before I was given a title officially that I'm a Omezi Obodo one of Mbezi. And those days, if I remember, we used to be 5 people sitting in Federal Palace Hotel discussing. Food was more than the number of people. And today, when I see this, I love this thing. So investment is what we achieve here, the way we talk. And when they invest and he finds a return on his investment, then he can consider himself a success. But for me, coming here, achieving something, making friends, and having companies which is working here to serve people itself is a success. So I think investment for me is passion. And I'm sure most of us sitting here, it's the same thing here.
On this, I'm going to talk to Farm Okay. Farm Okay, Abba. Abba, okay. Okay, so my apologies. So my question will then be, there's an extent to which heroism can take us to in any industry, on any sector. So what I hear you say is passion. A few people were heroic, right? And they were doing it regardless of all the setbacks. Now, in athleticism, I used to spend a bit of time in athleticism. There is what we call a plateau. Heroism will take you to a certain level. The other thing that can move you beyond that level for exponential growth will be creating the right ecosystems to encourage growth. So what are those things, right, that we can do as an association, as individual entrepreneurs, then as an association, then as a sovereign, to ensure that we have the ecosystem? Or what are those ecosystems? People have referred to industrial parks, etc., etc. People have referred to getting foreign companies in India who are producing the APIs to come and collocate here and produce. What are some of the things you think are low-hanging fruits that we can do to change the face of this sector?
Thank you, our moderator. Thank you, fellow panelists, distinguished audience. The question to me is, what should we begin to do to really walk the talk? I would say upfront that for me as an individual, I'm getting fatigued about talking. The Nigerian pharma space, if you take in a year the number of conferences, talks, papers we're listening to, and then you weigh it against what we're achieving, I'm not sure we're doing well. This is a very well put event, the best in class, you can say. But like someone said on the podium, what are we going to do when we leave here? To answer your question more specifically, I would like to piggyback on what my senior brother said, Mazi. In an industry that is evolving, policy is everything. Because policy creates the environment
Absolutely.
you're going to play with, you're going to play in. In this country, pharma industry, one of the things that held it has kept it the way it is. If you like, call it policy inconsistency. If you like, call it weak policy. If you like, call it poor implementation of policy. So for me, it's about policy. Now, let me not overflog the issue of policy. Let me now come to us. What have we done as a profession, as an association, as players to influence that policy? That for me is the challenge. I don't have the answer, but I know one answer, that we are not pulling together enough.
Okay.
To define what we want, because this industry is so important, it's so critical, that if we pull together and say what we want, government will engage us.
We often talk about these markets, these 200 million people markets, right? And that when you bring a product, etc., the offtake will be guaranteed. But in finance, we talk about demand, or economics, demand and effective demand. Effective demand being demand backed by the capacity to pay. For purchasing power. In an environment where the purchasing power we know is extremely low, it means that we have to find other innovative ways to ensure that effective demand. Because you know what? People must always fall ill. It's human nature. We are human beings. And like we say, without health, we have nothing. So what are the things, and I don't want to put you on the spot because I honestly don't know your background, but what can we do to effectivize the demand? Because as a financier, if you come to meet me today to finance a project, and I hope you will support an answer, and I can guarantee because I know that people will need the medication, but I can guarantee that there's a capacity to pay over time, right? Is there something the association is doing, partnering with whether federal government or whether financial institutions to effectivize that demand? Is that something you think we can do? And if not, we can have an open conversation to close this session. Thank you.
First, let me congratulate NAIP for the fantastic meeting that they put together. I don't know where you got honorable from. I'm not honorable, I'm not a comrade. But I can say to you that my president here, I look like what? My president here has sort of said it all. And what do I mean by that? You know, we've been here before. This is the only industry that I know in Nigeria that does not fight for itself. If you all remember, for comprehensive insurance, the insurance industry came together, lobbied the government to take the premium that you pay on your car for comprehensive insurance from something that you can negotiate under 2% or 0 point something percent to about 7.5%. And they made it compulsory that all of us are now paying. Okay? The reason why we've not been able to do it is exactly what he has said. If we all come together, which is the first thing that we have to do, the policy that our Oga had mentioned about, it's easy to come together and put, you know, there's the brain in this room, it's unbelievable, okay? So we know what we want. But we have to come together as one voice and be determined to go after that we want. This country belongs to all of us. all of us are here. Without us, there's no country. Because without medicine, there's no security. I mean, we saw what happened during COVID. Everybody saw it. Okay? But unless we are together, we are very clear. The purpose is very clear. And we're determined to take that purpose, that policy, or whatever it is that we feel that concerns us. And we're determined to take it to every breadth and width of this country, or length of this country, until we have answers.
It's a couple of bully, now we there. Messy to sit the weekend, now we there. If you got the pump for I need you, I but they no love for man. You know got no choice. If you got the package, I need you, I but they belly. Security confirmed, the man who do not you know, the man I mess with but they can't find it. The man I'm dead, and I'm I hope you were on the baby. I'm sure what Papa don't see what I'm gonna tell I don't one day. What you done one day? One yes, one baby. Over more season. You I full option, no double silencer. If I'm a double no double condenser. If I need to go to kitchen and do a monster, I can't go in shower to them when they saw. And I'm a sipanundo. Opo pekonego. Menu ne mena bondolo. Fabia kizwago. Fane mena cash. Ufodu ne kesi check. If you don't come for me, you ever go to my love for man.
Yeah, we go, I don't know. Yeah, yeah, we go, I don't know. Agege, no mami baze, agege, no mami baze, agege, no mami baze, agege, agege, no mami baze, agege, no mami baze, agege, no mami baze, agege, no mami baze, agege, no mami baze. Ogiambo, Yahweh, I la lo agege o
Mama mi baze,
agege o
mama mi baze,
agege
mama mi baze,
agege
mama mi baze, mama mi baze, mama mi baze,
agege.
Step on the
a movie produced by Steven Spielberg, where a land, bright lights, everybody happy dancing, everybody sharing one love, one love.